And good evening and welcome to the Red, Gold, and Bold. We'll call it episode 22.1, right? Like just wedge it in here as we are live at halftime between the Chiefs and Steelers. Kansas City Chiefs lead the Pittsburgh Steelers 21-7. As always, Jeff Chadiha from the NFL Network and NFL.com. Eric Eager for Pro Football Focus. Jeff at the stadium. Eric at PFF. 21-7, man. I'll tell you what, at 7-0 Steelers, Jeff, had some Chiefs fans scratching their heads saying, what the hell is going on? This at halftime is what Chiefs fans expected.
Yeah, they got there the hard way. But, look, I said before we came on the air that if the Chiefs went in 7-7, even 14-7, Pittsburgh would have been thrilled by it. So to have it be 21-7 now, you're starting to see that separation begin. Chiefs had 300 yards of offense. Steelers are at 44. Those two turnovers are huge, but you can't keep relying on TJ Watt to score touchdowns for you. If the Pittsburgh Steelers can't get more offense going, this is going to be like it was last time that these two teams played.
Eric, your thoughts on the first half and how quickly things got turned around?
I said on Twitter, this felt like the Houston game from 19, except for the other team didn't have a quarterback.
Right.
And like the blitzkrieg of 21 points at the end of the first half sort of resembled the Houston game. As somebody who won a ton of bets on that last Travis Kelce touchdown, that felt good. And, the offense, they're just capable of a lot of great things when they throw the ball to 10 and when they throw the ball to 87. And now, with McKinnon playing as well as he's playing, TJ Watt, we talked about this on the show this last week, Petro, like TJ Watt could ruin this game, right? Like he could ruin this game, and he has had glimpses of that. Chiefs got lucky a little bit with drops by Deontay Johnson, on late downs. But for now, this is a good result for the first half, if even the first quarter was maddening.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's start with a couple of things. A slow start, Jeff. What do you attribute the Chiefs' slow start to?
Well, I think Pittsburgh, people forget this is a proud franchise. They were going to come in here and get rolled over like they did last time. It may happen now, but they were coming. They were going to fight. And so that's what I saw the first time around was in the first half was Pittsburgh just playing hard. TJ Watt was a different player than he was the first time around. They got pressure. They could have had two defensive touchdowns if they convert that tip pass into an interception return. So I think it was more about Pittsburgh playing harder. I think the Chiefs came in and thought they could sleepwalk through the first half, and they did for a little bit, but they're a better team.
And right now we're watching Patrick Mahomes, 241, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception off a tip ball. Really the scenario, I talked to Tim Benz from the Pittsburgh Tribune Review this week, Eric. He said if Pittsburgh's going to win, and he gave them no chance of winning, he said if they are, they're going to be +3 in the turnovers. They're going to get a return score for a touchdown. The doomsday scenario seemed like it was going, right? You had 2 turnovers. You had the return score for a touchdown, yet the Chiefs never wavered and got it going in the right direction. It seemed to be the wake-up call they needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And, and the other thing that the Steelers needed was to execute on offense, at least get the plays that the Chiefs give you. And Deontay Johnson was open against Mike Hughes a couple times, dropped the ball. He had 8 drops coming into the game. So that's not something that he is uncharacteristic for him.
We lost your audio there for a second, Eric, so we'll see if we can get Eric Eager at the Pro Football Focus offices. We'll see if we can get him locked back in. By the way, a lot of money on computers at PFF, so I'm not sure why we're losing his stream. Jeff is at Arrowhead, no problem coming out of there you are, Eric. Go ahead, finish your thought, Eric. We lost you there for a second, so go ahead and finish your thought.
The Chiefs are tackling well. I think that's a big aspect of this game that's going underlooked, not looked at. Like they're not allowing the Steelers that many yards after first contact, which it's a big improvement for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it is a big improvement. And is it all they need? Is this game already over right now, as far as you see it, Jeff?
Yeah. I mean, I think, again, if the Steelers went in down 7, even 10, you can still feel like you've got some optimism here. The problem is they have eyes. They can see this offense, what it's doing. They don't have the ability to go down the field like Joe Burrow could for the Bengals. They don't have the ability to improvise at the quarterback position and pick up yards, scrambling like Drew Lock could. And so their hopes of moving the football are just there's not much to work with there. So at some point, that's going to start getting frustrating. And I think that you could see the frustration on Ben Roethlisberger's face when Deontay Johnson was dropping those balls. He knows what those completions or incompletions mean to this offense's destiny today.
Yeah. When do we start talking, Jeff, about the Buffalo Bills? Because right before we came on live, you were already starting to talk about the Buffalo Bills. Now, when we were sitting here getting ready to go in the virtual studio, if you will, and the Chiefs hadn't punched that last one in, the big 48-yard touchdown pass to Travis Kelce, it was 14-7. Your thought process was kind of like, they play like this against the Bills, they're in big, big trouble. They get the touchdown. It's 21-7. They have 30 more minutes to put some heat down on the Pittsburgh Steelers, put a beat down on the Pittsburgh Steelers. What do you think? We're early here. There is 30 minutes to play.
They better get to 50-7. It better be a 50-burger coming, because what Buffalo did yesterday against the Bill Belichick defense was pretty impressive. So, you're not going to get me to come off that one right now. But Buffalo was the most impressive team of the weekend so far. And if they come here, Chiefs start this way against them, be a long night.
Yeah. What do you think?
I don't think the 72 Dolphins beat the Buffalo team that played last night. I think the issue is this is a Buffalo team that has lost to the Jags, played the Jets close. They've also beat the Chiefs soundly at Arrowhead too. And so, that's the thing. Football's a weird game, man. Like, the Bengals, I went to that game yesterday. The Bengals didn't play their best game yesterday either, right? But they played a great game against the Chiefs. So, I think Buffalo's going to be ready for this game, though.
Yeah,
I think they hate the Chiefs.
Yeah, I do too. Listen, I think it shapes up as a great game once we get there. And I think the good news for the Chiefs is no Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And do we get the feeling that maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire is, if he's not able to play now, that he might be done? And how impressive is it, Jeff, to see what we're seeing out of McKinnon step up, fill the void, and make that happen, right? Because if they're not going to have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, you want the depth of running back, and McKinnon looks like he's giving them a lot of the same things.
Well, I think McKinnon against a team like Pittsburgh is a great fit for what they're trying to do with him. I mean, it's always amazing to me that the things you expect Clyde Edwards-Helaire to do in this offense, other guys end up doing. So Gerald Williams has been a phenomenal receiver. You're seeing McKinnon do some stuff that you would expect to see Edwards-Helaire be doing. But, yeah, he's having a great night. He's showing a lot of burst, a lot of quickness, things we have not seen from that position in this offense throughout the course of the season. So you'd hope they could find a fit for him. But again, I think it's more so about the Steelers and the matchup than it is about McKinnon overall.
McKinnon coming into the game had just 25 touches all year. I think, though, when you look at his history, obviously with Minnesota, 4 years he had over 100 carries 3 times, over 40 catches twice, 2 off years in San Francisco with a knee. Last year in San Francisco, he had some good spurts, but he had the knee injuries, and he even spent some time on IR with the Chiefs. I think maybe we're giving Andy too much credit, but I think, keeping McKinnon for a time like this might have been a pretty good move, right? And maybe relying on him for a whole season might not have been great, but relying on him now, he looks spry.
Yeah. Again, Eric Eager at the Pro Football Focus offices, Jeff Chadiha at Arrowhead, me at home. I'm the slacker of the bunch as the fellas working right down the first half of the Chiefs and Pittsburgh Steelers 21-7. Chiefs lead. And right now, I mean, you have to like the way the offense has come to life, right? They started slowly. We've talked about it. It looked like early on this was maybe going to be a rock fight. The Chiefs seemed like they were, able, again, granted against the Steelers offense that's in the 20s rankings-wise, not the Buffalo Bills offense, but they were down for a rock fight. Then they got punched in the face and they got the offense going, and it looks like the offense has stepped up, getting big plays over the top, something that we had been waiting to see. Jeff, are you starting to buy in that the Chiefs have unwound the riddle of the cover 2 defense, the 2 deep shell, and are now getting back to making big plays?
I think a couple of things. One, I think the Chiefs probably didn't want to dust off some of those plays they pulled out in the second quarter of that game. I think they would have rather held on to them until deeper into the playoff race. So you get a 3rd and 20, 48-yard touchdown pass to Travis Kelce. Trust me, that's something that Andy Reid developed in a lab someplace. So it's a great offenses look good in the last 7 minutes. I think they started slow because they wanted to play conservatively, get the win. But yeah, it's a good sign for them right now. They should do better in the second half.
Are we worried about slowing down? We got the question here from Albert, and then of course we always have our chat room going when we stream live with the Two Deep and the Red, Gold, and Bold podcast here. And Albert asked the question, what do they have to do to slow down Watson Hayward? Eric, I mean, is Watson Hayward really that big a problem right now? I know we have the big return. You could throw that at the feet of Andy Reid as much as anything, getting a little bit cute. Yeah. Listen, I always like his cutesy plays. I know other people are critical of him because I think he makes the long doldrum of practice fun by bringing those plays in, and I think you need that to liven things up. But I don't know that I'm down with McCole Hardman, who everybody wants to get down on the ground and not fumble every time he touches the ball, to then try to have to handle a handoff. How much concern should we have that McCole Hardman is the principal ball handler on any play? That's kind of missing the obvious, that he doesn't handle the ball well.
Yeah, I mean, in the first half of this game, we at PFF, we chart things live. I think the biggest issue right now is actually not, Watt has 3 pressures so far. It's really that matchup against, the first-round pick for this year, what the Chiefs used on the first-round pick, which is Orlando Brown. They've gone with Alex Highsmith on the other side of Watt against Orlando Brown. He's got 4 pressures so far this first half. That's something that they have to be, cognizant of. And I think that they were trying to change things up with the Hardman stuff. I think they were trying to give Hardman, who is somebody
who you're tormenting out here, Eric.
I do it to test you. Keep focus on your thought, and then we'll get to. I just put it up there as an advance. Come on, stay with your thought.
This is like that drill in football where I'm like dropping back, like Jameis Winston does, where they throw a bag at him while he's dropping back to pass.
Right.
So Highsmith 4 pressures so far, Watt 3. I think the tackles have struggled. I think we expected Andrew Wiley to struggle. I don't think we expected Orlando Brown Jr., even after a calf injury just 2 or 3 weeks ago, to struggle against Alex Highsmith. I think that's an improvement place for the Chiefs, for this one.
And as far as blocking, our valuable listeners, will you unblock RPD plays?
I will.
Okay. All right. There it is.
It's like once a week for this guy, man. He just got all these people out of here. He's just tormenting.
Jeff, you were pretty adamant about, listen, and we are putting the cart ahead of the horse, but the Chiefs were a double-digit favorite coming to this game. They were supposed to pummel the Steelers. They're already covering the number at halftime, even though it was a late flurry to get there. They're already covering the number. Listen, and I had somebody jump at me like, can we talk about the Steelers this week on my show? And I'm like, why? I'm not playing. Are you? It doesn't matter. I'll talk about whatever the hell I want. I'll talk about a matchup with the Packers. It doesn't matter. If Patrick Mahomes tweets out, hey, we love our matchup against the Packers, we'll worry about it. We can go ahead and start to look ahead. Yeah. I mean, what do you think? Brian puts it out there. They're going to get smoked if they start slow like this against the Bills. Why? Because the Bills, the game they played yesterday against the Patriots, is the game they play every single week. I guess I missed that when they played Jacksonville.
Well, the game they played against the Patriots was the game they played when they came to Arrowhead back in week 5. So we've seen this acting in Kansas City before. Look, the Bills can certainly go south, but they remind me a lot of the 2019 Chiefs. And just having come off an AFC Championship loss, having the super talented quarterback, super balanced team. They've had their ups and downs, but I think ups and downs can help you in a year where you think you can win a Super Bowl. And so do I think it's going to be a great game? Yeah. Do I think the Bills have a great opportunity to come in here and win? Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, what do we see in the second half? Eric, you've already cashed a lot of bets in the first half because we know that last drive was huge for your wallet. What happens in the second half? How's this game finish up?
I have a lot of alt spreads, Soren. I have Chiefs minus 14.5. I have them minus 16.5, minus 20.5, minus 23.5, minus 26.5. I think I got a minus 30.5. That's pretty good numbers. I wanted all of this one. I think.
Are you married?
I think the Pittsburgh Steelers play offense to try to keep this as respectable as possible. And I don't know if Andy reciprocates after the first half that they had. I think it was a pretty rough first half, except for the last 6 or 7 minutes. And I think Andy is probably going to want to pour it on, a la the Houston game.
All right, Jeff, how's it finish?
I think Chiefs pull away. I don't know if Andy's going to try to rub it in. He cares about Mike Tomlin, their friends. I suspect they get to 28-35. They probably ease back and just try to get ready for next week.
Yeah, I'm thinking something in the neighborhood of
Big Ben has 24 passing yards.
34-17. I'll take the Chiefs to finish it off. I think they do call off the dogs a little bit. All right, we're going to let everybody go and watch the second half. Jeff Chadiha, NFL Network. Live in Arrowhead, Eric Eager. Pro Football Focus live at the Game Club Studios. My name is Soren Petro. Thank you for joining us. We catch us live every Tuesday, 9 p.m. We stream live. Also, catch the podcast, Red, Gold, and Bold, wherever you get your podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. Enjoy the second half.